is such a privilege and a pleasure to finally make it here and be able to serve this beautiful church. The church is more than the physical structure. It is those of you who gather. It is each of us as we walk about our daily lives. And Reverend Jeannie and I go back to 1991 when I came to my first national convention here. I had never flown before. And for some reason, when I was walking around afterwards, I was kind of rubbery. I wasn't quite sure what to expect. And believe it or not, it resolved. But I wasn't too sure about if I would recover. I believe it was about that time that I also met Ron. And whether or not I see them at conventions or other times, these are two very special people who have inspired me on my journey and who have given me reasons to serve Spirit for the highest and best for all concerned. And as they deal with their daily challenges and we deal with our daily challenges, it is the support of each of us to the other that gives us the strength to move forward and deal with whatever comes in our path. The unconditional love is the key that holds the cement that holds us together. And I am so blessed with my spiritual community, my spiritual church family, and today with my brother-in-law who has been so kind to me since I've been visiting with him and my sister. Les is a very spiritual person in his own right, and we have many interesting conversations and continue to do that. I want to go back briefly to when I started with the Augusta Spiritualist Church. Prior to my father's passing, there was a lot of concern on my mother's part, actually when I was growing up. When I was a teenager, my mother thought I belonged in the Mental Health Institute. She was raised in a Baptist environment and wasn't familiar with Spirit. And her mother died during childbirth when she was a year old and her siblings were separated. My father kind of grinned. He said, "It's okay. You're gifted like your grandmother who passed before you were born." That was a relief, although I thought everybody had these gifts. And over time, it took my mother quite a few years, but she did finally come to understand that I was certified now in a very positive way. And when my father was in the hospital during his last weeks, there was a couple of adult twin sisters whose father was also in that hospital. And the only time my mother attended a service was one that I had done where these twins were in attendance. And I can't remember. We don't want to remember the greetings that we bring. But they told my mother that I wouldn't have known what it was that I shared with them. I think she probably had the biggest sigh of relief in her life to know that all was well. And when I went into the Augusta Spiritualist Church, it was like coming home. Like-minded people sharing experiences, learning together. And a dear friend in Spirit, the Reverend Rupert Segerson, a fifth-generation spiritualist who was very proper, surprised me when he recognized one of my guides, the clown. He was so straight and proper. It seemed very surprising that the clown would be known to him. But he had devoted so much of his life, and he taught me a lot. And each person teaches me, whether we're a speaker or a member of the congregation, we're students, we're teachers. We share, and we grow together, whether physically together or in our respective areas of life. I can't begin to tell you how blessed I am to have spiritualism as a way of life. Death and loss have been very much a part of my life. And it is because of these truths that I am able to be healed, comforted. My oldest brother, who was my closest sibling, was murdered in 1982 on my parents' anniversary. He was buried on my dad's birthday, and he would have been 36 2 days later. The night before the funeral, I was not sleeping. I was in the bedroom of a friend's home, and he communicated with me. He said, "It's all right. I wasn't in my body when it was riddled with bullets. I'm at peace and free of pain." And that was so powerful. I couldn't prove it to anyone else. But that knowing that we get certainly was what I needed and what has helped me through many experiences to know that life continues and that those from the spirit side are so close to us, even when we may feel alone and lonely. It's interesting how they may choose to let us know of their presence. Sometimes it may be a fragrance, a touch, any number of possibilities, perhaps moving something a little bit, but they're never far away. And in those challenges of life, when we are really feeling the need for love, understanding, strength, and support, we're never alone. We can be amazed sometimes at those who may choose now to come to our side, who on the earth plane may not have actually gotten along with us at times. The way things change when the transition has been made, and the ability for those from the spirit side to give to us so much love, tolerance, joy, and understanding is beyond words. And those from the spirit side also wish for each of you to know that as we gather here this day and hear the songbirds along the way, wafting scents amid the grass, open hearts, and now alas, feeling that which we may not understand as spirit joins hand in hand, heart in heart, and brings to us to impart the joy, the love we hold within to be expressed now and again, day to day along our way as we may move about. They encourage us, nudge a bit, and really want to shout with pride and joy for what we give to those along the way, whose hearts we touch, whose lives we give, the breath of life as may be given from a different place to those in need, stranger perhaps, friend indeed. We all know what it's like to be very lonely and distraught, and Spirit knows and touches in, so that it not be forgot that you indeed are a divine being walking this beautiful earth, until it's time for us to go and join those on the other side. Be blessed each day, knowing you've done the best you can, and walk proud, tall, and smile often. because you never know when a stranger will become a friend. There's so much more that could be told, but the time for now is limited. So please, dear friends, let your heart unfold the gifts that you've been given. Bless each and every one. Thank you.